Gee, I wonder who the bad guy is. So, hi.
Yeah. I mean, that's
like the worst kept secret.
Well, to be fair, I'm pretty sure that secret was for anyone who wasn't like an actual fan, because let's be honest, Marvel movies have become pretty mainstream.
Oh, they have. No, it always cracked me up that they tried so hard. I mean, like, I don't think I'm gonna give anything away at this point. It's been out for over a week, so you've probably already seen it by now. So
yeah, I guess it's okay to go spoilers free on this, but like,
it came out on the Tuesday before the 4th of July.
Yeah, so it's been over. It's like a week and a half. So at this point, if you haven't seen it, I can't fucking help you.
Yeah, I saw it opening night.
Yeah,
I couldn't. I was too busy. I saw it this past Tuesday.
Slow ass schmuck.
Why are you looking at me?
Because it took you for... I was ready last week. I was like, let's do this. And you're like, I gotta wait. So...
Well, I did.
Yes.
But anyway, yeah, but the advertising campaign like tried so hard. It's like, no, this is like Mysterio's origin. Like, we're gonna show how he's gonna be the bad guy.
There's a multiverse.
It's like we're just explain how Mysterio becomes the bad guy. And I'm like, motherfucker, it's like we tried to tell me Ego wasn't the bad guy in Guardians 2.
I'm more upset about them teasing a multiverse.
Yes.
Because that was like, wow, you're gonna go this big? Like...
No, well, technically they already did in Doctor Strange. But
sort of.
They mention it.
They mention it, but they don't really like. You felt like they were actually going to pop in there and try to do something with it this time, as opposed to, lying about it. Literally lying about it.
I know, but I think it's a lot of people call it out too for the movie. I was like, guys, Mysterio is a guy known for lying.
Yeah,
he lies.
The marketing was actually very effective, at least for one friend of mine who does not like Jake Gyllenhaal as an actor, and he was very upset that they made my favorite Spider-Man villain a hero. And after I saw it on Tuesday afternoon, I texted him saying, "You may be happy to know that Mysterio is not a hero. Sorry for the spoiler." And he said, "Oh, good, that's refreshing. Don't worry, I asked for that one."
I definitely felt like I was waiting for the movie to start until the halfway point.
I guess you're coming from on that.
Because it didn't feel like, giant special effects monster was... It felt wrong. Like, it didn't feel like a Spider-Man villain,
I mean, technically they are.
I know, but it didn't feel, in the context of where they've been going with the Marvel movies and everything, this didn't feel like a substantive foil for Spider-Man, considering how good and complex of a character Michael Keaton's Vulture was.
Michael Keaton was great.
Yes.
In the first one, like, I think that expecting this one to just be, him teaming up with Mysterio to fight against...
The elementals.
Yeah, the elementals. I was kind of like, this isn't the actual movie. Something's gonna happen. Like, something's gonna upset Mysterio and he's gonna turn evil, or he already is evil, or something like that.
Or whatever ends up happening, which is Mysterio is just a dick.
Yeah, and
I was just waiting for the illusions to happen.
And they did.
Meanwhile,
Yes.
you didn't know the illusions were in front of you all along.
No, I did not. I was along for the ride like everyone else.
I guess we should say whether or not we actually like this movie, because we actually haven't given general thoughts yet.
Yeah, we've been kind of mean to it so far.
I just really like this movie. I thought it was really good.
For the record, I love this movie.
Yeah, I thought it was really damn good.
It's pretty good. I dug it. I would say that I like Homecoming just a wee bit more because I like Michael Keaton's Vulture.
I still think it was a lot better than Homecoming, personally.
It's better in different ways,
Yes.
and it's not as good in other ways.
Yes.
And I find that to be a good mark of a proper sequel, I think.
Yeah,
It focuses on other strengths.
But I very much enjoyed it. It's a fun ride, and it balances the tone of the previous Spider-Man film of being an action comic book adventure film and a high school comedy romantic drama.
Are you gonna
Yeah.
play that Walking Dead game the whole time?
I'm
You're
just
gonna-
trying to clear this one infestation, man. I've died like 3
You're
times.
just
It's not
so
being nice to me.
rude.
I'm still in the conversation perfectly fine. They wouldn't have noticed unless you told them. Except they know I was glancing at my phone or something. I might have been texting. But, yeah, okay, so...
So,
The Homecoming felt like a proper origin story, and this does the whole thing where, we don't need to tell much about Spider-Man outside of what's going on right now. And in terms of being a follow-up to Endgame, in terms of being him living in the shadow of Tony Stark, being a teenager,
It's felt throughout.
trying to shoulder this responsibility
That he's not ready
and
for.
literally everywhere he goes, there are giant murals of Iron Man and Tony Stark staring down at him, and it's just this ever-present reminder, and he's really upset about it, and he's,
Rightfully so.
he never had a father figure, and he...
but what about Uncle Ben?
Uncle Ben doesn't exist here. He's already dead. Get over it.
That's why.
Which was so refreshing about Homecoming.
I know, right?
Yes,
Like
it was.
I feel like a lot of people people still bitch and moan about that all the goddamn time. It drives me
Fuck
crazy.
that!
I know.
How
I'm
many
like-
times do you need every Batman movie to go back over? Like, oh, remember when his parents died?
I was just gonna bring up that same example. I was like, if I need to see those goddamn pearls falling one more goddamn time.
I like how BVS did it because they specifically tried to mirror the frames from the comic book of the Dark Knight Returns. Because I read that before going and seeing it, and I was like, wow, they really matched this up. And I thought that was cool because he was actually trying to recreate a comic book scene beat for beat. But just as a story element,
And you don't need it.
Yeah,
You
No.
don't fucking need it.
you understand it.
You
Well,
don't?
you needed it so that Martha made sense in that one. But
Well, we're not getting into it again.
And in this movie, Uncle Ben not being in the picture gives the subplot opportunity for Aunt May to have a summer fling with
Happy Hogan.
Logan.
well, here's another thing. That element is funny and cute, and I
Yes.
like how it
Annoys.
squeaks out
Yes.
Peter. But aside from that, I like the fact that it does focus on, Spider-Man being, Peter Parker being someone who does not have a father figure. He doesn't really feel like he takes Happy seriously.
Not particularly.
And he grows to at least appreciate him as someone he can trust and go to for help.
Yeah.
And you can see that that's why he's initially drawn to Mysterio, because he's looking for someone charismatic. Mysterio's credit trying to be his friend and compliment him and stuff, and make him,
Confidant.
give him compliment and give him credit that other people aren't giving him.
Yeah.
When other people are kind of like demeaning him and not taking him seriously, Mysterio's the one who's like, hey, you're onto something there. It's
Yeah.
all good.
And I like this movie focused more on. I feel like Peter had more of an arc in this movie they did in Homecoming.
Yes.
Yes.
I
that
feel
I
like
agree with. Yes.
I think they definitely focused more on the responsibility angle of Spider-Man. But like the first Homecoming was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it, but I was definitely more focused on fun rather than getting Peter a definite arc. Not that they didn't have one.
It was
Not that they didn't have one.
it was
just
a standard hero's journey.
Yeah.
The same way that every Marvel movie that is introducing a new hero is the standard hero's journey. That's what that is.
Yeah.
And honestly, that's what I like better about a lot of the sequels. Like, the original Iron Man just has something interesting and special to it, I think, because he's not a good guy at the beginning of it.
No, he's a playboy lush.
Yeah, and he eventually turns into that over the course of the film. But when you're dealing with Thor, he's at worst he's childish, and with Captain America, he's just
Righteous.
skinny. And they buff him up and he fights people, and great. And the second movies in all of those series, to me, were more interesting because they extrapolated upon what happens now.
Yeah.
How
I
does
can
this
see that.
new identity combat with that? And so with Far From Home, they really do take a Spider-Man who is, lost. He's still trying to be a kid. He's still trying to enjoy his life, and he's trying to balance that out with a world without Iron Man, which is an interesting theme to throw over the whole movie as an acknowledgement of where the Marvel Universe is going to be going from now.
And also, he's trying to do all that in a world where some of his classmates are now in their early 20s.
Yeah, the
I was
blink.
wondering how they were going to address that.
Yeah, they had to. You knew
Yeah.
they couldn't leave it alone. And I really love that there's one classmate who's just 21 now.
It was just
Yes.
like older and sexier.
and
Like,
for-
yeah, my younger brother's older than me now. That's weird.
But what I don't get, it's like he's not in their class, but he's still on their debate team, even though he didn't get blinked and he got to keep going to school and growing up, and so but they're just like, it's not debate without you. Let's bring you along and have you kind
Cockblock.
of not just cockblock, but really aggressively hit on and try to get with the 16-year-old.
Is he
Yeah.
21? I thought he was saying he was like still. I thought he was like their age or slightly older. I think it was 21.
5
5
years.
Okay.
So if he's still under 18, then they're 12.
Yeah.
So
They
he's
said younger
21.
brother back when they were still in college. So it could just be
Oh, he was the younger brother?
Yeah, he was the younger brother.
So what, is he a senior now?
Yeah, that's what I'm guessing.
And he was 12?
Yes.
Oh, that's weird.
That is weird.
It's still weird because
Yes.
he looks 21 to their 16.
I mean, they all technically look that way.
No, I know, but he looks significantly older than the rest of the people in the class.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm guessing senior, but I could be wrong. That's the only way it makes
That's
sense.
like a senior-freshman relationship rather than a just,
Well,
senior-junior relationship.
Well, if you watch Transformers 5, you
Shut
know
the
there are
fuck
laws.
Don't do that.
I'm pretty sure he's 21 because the scene on the plane when Flash Thompson is trying to get booze in first class,
Oh, yeah.
MJ calls him out and tells the flight
Yeah, he's
attendant.
not even 21. He blinked.
Yeah, he,
But that'd be only if
he
That'd be just
blinked.
him.
He's 16.
Yeah,
not
that's just
21.
him though.
Okay.
that would only work if they established that he was the same age. The other
Yeah.
kid, what was his name? Brian, what the hell his name is? Or Ned? No, not Ned. Ned's the other one.
I just find
That's
it really
his best
interesting.
Oh,
I find it really
Ned and Betty's romance was so cute. Sorry, just wanted to throw that out there.
I find it really interesting that how the world they're like everything is kind of fucked, and there were reviews that I watched that were talking about like, well, what every single ID-based system that you have is completely thrown into chaos now.
Yeah, that's what I
And
read that too.
I
yeah.
love that they had jokes about it in this movie. They
Yes.
didn't ignore that. And before we move on, I just want to like the opening scene with the really shittily made like high school iMovie thing with the Sarah McLachlan music.
Yeah.
And
It was Whitney Houston's cover.
Right.
I Will Always Love You.
yeah. And the and the fact that it comes in with the swelling, like the real croon of the song right
Yes.
when Tony Stark appears, and it turned what could have been a really poignant moment into and a downer note for the movie to start with, into this really expertly crafted acknowledgement that people are sad, but also this is hilarious because high schoolers are stupid.
Yes.
And or at very least don't know how to edit shit.
It was so
and the fact
cheesy.
that there's that Getty Images watermark
I
on that
got
last
that
clip.
too. And as someone who's edited similar shitty slideshows.
Exactly. If you've worked in film at all on an amateur level, like especially earlier on in your life, like a lot of this is very familiar.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I'm also particularly a fan of the morning address and how neither of them seem to know which camera to look at sometimes.
I noticed that too. Their eyes are so wide.
Yeah, I'm just a big fan of. I'm a big fan of shittily made, like, portrayals of shittily made stuff that is done that is in a way that is actually true to how that stuff really looks and feels, and they did a great job with that. It was really funny.
No, I agree. Moving on though, there's some scenes. I think there are some standout scenes I think we definitely need to talk about.
The action in this was
Yes.
amped up, especially in the
honestly,
second half of the movie.
As far as live action Spider-Man movies go, it's still hard to top the train scene for Spider-Man 2. But that being said, there's some scenes in this one I think actually do it.
The final battle in this movie.
The final battle is great. The standout for me though is the first major Mysterio illusion scene with Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Oh, with the tower in Venice.
But like it was like the first time like Mysterio kind of realizes that Spider-Man's on to him and he needs to get in front of it first. And that big long trippy sequence where he basically fucks them inside the warehouse.
Yeah, no, that was.
Yes.
Yeah, that was
like honestly,
really visually creative. Logistically, it felt like they just threw logic out the window and just put him into a nightmare realm.
Doesn't matter.
And
I don't care. It's
that's
Mysterio.
fine because they basically made Mysterio into Freddy Krueger for a moment.
Yeah, and I loved every second of that scene. I think that was
Me too.
like that scene was amazing.
And I loved the rapid Spidey suit changes during that.
Yeah, they did a really good job with that.
No, like I think it was, and it
Dude,
felt like
the
Mysterio.
zombie Iron Man.
Yeah,
That was
Scary.
That was really unsettling. I was like, this is going kind of far. And then hitting him with a bullet train. I didn't expect that.
No, like
normally
that's so Mysterio, and I loved every second of that. Like, yes, this is what I wanted from Mysterio. This is exactly what you want. They needed to do with this. And it's the most visually stunning scene I've seen in any Spider-Man movie.
Yes.
God,
Easily.
it was, and they were able to use the illusion thing to avoid the pitfall of people being like, oh, well, he's being backed into a street or on train tracks. He's going to be hit by a train. But no, you don't see any of that. He's just like, sorry. And you're like, what? Oh! Oh!
Yeah.
Shit!
I honestly had trouble distinguishing illusion from reality, too, as a viewer of those sequences.
Yeah, no, that
Gyllenhaal
whole...
is so damn good in that sequence, too.
He's such a good actor.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fake out with the Nick Fury part.
Oh, yeah.
Like, perfect. So well done.
And it all comes together so damn well, and it's like that's why I think say what you will about like the MCU Spider movies in general, whether you love them or hate them, you can't deny the villains are so damn good.
They are.
I feel like John Watts just has a better grasp of making a good movie than the previous filmmakers do, because Sam Raimi's really good at making schlock. He's good at making fun, pulpy, dramatic stuff.
Sam Raimi had a good balance of cheese and drama in his Spider movies, which like a lot of people, I still stand there. Both of them still hold up pretty damn well. Yeah. I don't hold them as to like the Holy Trinity as a lot of other people do.
It's I think it's the cultural impact of when they came around.
Oh yeah, and like they were a big deal when they first came out.
The first two Spider-Man movies and the first two X-Men movies kind of changed the possibilities for everything to come, and
They opened the gates.
Yeah, and that's really part of what makes them so good. But I think if you look at, and the first Spider-Man movie is still pretty good. It holds up really well.
Yeah, the first two are still pretty well. Still pretty good overall.
And I like the third movie for entirely different reasons.
I still haven't seen the third movie.
I've never hated the third one.
I don't hate it. I can see where the studio fucked everything up.
There are parts I do hate about it, but there's parts like, okay, there's still some genuinely really good scenes in it.
It would have been better as a if they just left it at Sandman and maybe Green Goblin.
Yeah.
Like, it just felt overpacked with the inclusion of Venom.
Yeah,
and it was shitty Venom.
That. Yeah.
Also, Topher Grace. What? And I'm a big fan of the emo jazz dance sequence.
Oh God,
I love how bad it is. No, because that's the point where Sam Raimi is like, you know what? You're not gonna let me make the movie I fucking want. I'm gonna make your movie the way I fucking want, as I'll fuck you. So
that sounds about right. Actually,
that is absolutely Sam Raimi going like, you're gonna force the symbiote into my movie. Okay, this is what we're gonna do with the creepy Peter Parker. We're gonna have him going around being like an incel, like just fucking emo hair and being like, hey, like fucking really. Oh man, I loved it. I still love that joke in Into the Spider-Verse. Oh yeah, no, I love that they did the callback. We don't talk about this. So I really like, I have a fondness in my heart for that. The Amazing Spider-Man movies went kind of like a darker route because Mark Webb is more of a dramatic
I was okay
director.
with that.
I always felt like the Amazing Spider movies had good ideas that were never really fleshed out.
Oh God, I have problems.
No, they were very, very flawed movies for sure.
Oh yeah,
I never hated them.
They weren't great, but they were fine.
I'd say they were bad.
I would say
Especially the second one.
yeah. In hindsight, that one hasn't held up too well.
Although Paul Giamatti is always, he chews the hell out of any
I
scene
still
he
love
is in.
Paul Giamatti in that movie, and no one can tell me otherwise.
Just him in the rhino suit, just
No, like the joke I always had, like in my favorite scenes, was like, I am the rhino. Like he's going, yeah, this is so dumb. I love it.
Cuckoo Cachoo.
I think we made that same joke too back then.
But yeah, as far as those go, like they didn't feel like movies that were trying to be really human. They felt like they were trying to be movies. Whereas this really these two movies have focused on the character of Spider-Man. They focus on the fact that Peter Parker is just a nice fucking guy.
Yeah.
He's a good dude who wants to help people. He's a sweetheart. He's kind of an awkward teenager. He's really smart, but at the same time, he's kind of a dweeb. And it does a good job with that. And I love seeing like a nice guy. I like that.
I do too.
And like, here's the thing I always felt about the Spider-Man actors in particular. This topic always comes up.
Oh.
And I know I'm gonna get so much shit for this in the internet already. Because people always say like, Tobey Maguire's the best, nothing tell me difference. Like, okay, here's the thing about Tobey Maguire. Tobey Maguire is a great Peter Parker. He was not a very good Spider-Man.
Sure.
Garfield was a good Spider-Man, not a great Peter Parker.
Yeah.
Tom Holland, I think, has a good balance. I really think he does.
Yeah.
He's a really entertaining Spider-Man, and he gets the nerdy part of Peter Parker down to a T.
Yeah.
Even though he's not like bogged down by, oh, my Uncle Ben. That apparently a lot of people want for whatever reason.
Angst.
Everyone's like, it's too jokey. It's too like, it's not serious enough. Like, bitch, please, Spider-Man.
It's Spider-Man.
Clearly, what we need next is a Zack Snyder Spider-Man.
Oh, God.
Zack Snyder-Man.
No, please, no.
A Snyder-Man movie.
The only way I would allow it is just like, is this what you want?
Exactly.
Is this what you want, you monsters? Are you happy now?
I'm
Are
sure
you not
they're waiting.
entertained?
I'm sure they're waiting for your green light. So
Yeah,
go ahead and let them know. Go knock on Zack Snyder's store and be like, "Hey, man, got an idea."
Because then that stupid release the Snyder Cut hashtag is going to come back and even more annoying the way that it exists now.
But it needs to.
No, it does not.
Yes, it does.
We're not having this argument again.
The 5-hour cut of Justice League would have been a great movie.
No, it wouldn't.
Fuck, Joss Whedon ruined it.
He would have run into Unjust. I mean, that wasn't Joss Whedon's fault. That was studio, but we're not doing this again. We're not doing this again. All right. Anyway, I hate how you do this to me.
BVS Ultimate is a good movie. 8 out of 10.
Why do you keep doing this to me? I've asked you to stop.
I never
You're
bothered
wrong.
seeing it. Anyway.
Because also this is part of the running joke of our review.
Yeah, I know. It gives me so much stress.
It's me loving BVS, hating Infinity War, and calling you racist.
It is all that in one. Yeah. Wait, how is it racist?
No, calling you racist.
It's like, what's that got to do with BVS? Though?
Just at ridiculous moments that have no tie to any racism. Just popping that up just to watch you panic for 2 seconds. It's great. It's so good. But yeah, it's with all that in mind.
Other things about Far From Home. It was interesting to see major European cities get toppled.
Yeah, that was fun
for a change. I mean, as somebody who would like to go there, it was a little bit heartbreaking. It's like, oh, all the beautiful architecture.
Venice.
Again.
It's okay. It's still there.
Okay.
Also, I had a couple of minor issues with the logic of the movie, but at the same time, it's a fucking Marvel movie.
Yeah, it's a Spider-Man movie. You know, you gotta take it to a grain of salt.
You gotta have a certain amount of fun with it and just let certain things go. Overall, the logic of it works, and the character progression is great. I loved MJ's character evolution here.
Yeah, like Tom Holland and Zendaya have really great chemistry, and I feel like they've made MJ a more well-rounded character this way than in the first one.
Yeah, I really love this take on MJ as well, where she's kind of this
Goth?
kind of
macabre.
Yeah, like one of those weird, creepy kind of smart girls who's like kind of awkward, but at the same time super into some really dark shit in a way that's fun. Like the kind of person you travel with and you're like, oh, that's the house where these people died. And you're like, I love you.
Or just like, I got you, what was it, a Black Dahlia. It's like, because of the murders.
Right? And it's great. And like, literally, oh God. Everyone I'm dating is like that.
That's why you like MJ.
Well, I mean, yeah, if I was her age, I would be like, I love you. Let's go watch horror movies and listen, like watch documentaries about cults together. Like that would totally be me back then. Now I can't deal with cult documentaries anymore. There's too much. It's too much suffering in the world.
You've seen Midsummer twice.
I was going to see it a third time, but we just didn't have it in us that night. But yeah, it's I like this characterization of her. I found the thing between Ned and Betty was adorable and fun. It didn't feel very natural, but as a running joke throughout the movie, it was fine.
It was nice. I like they gave Betty something to do.
When he puts on the glasses and looks over to them and sees them texting each other like I miss you, and like I miss you too, and they're sitting next to each other, and he just has that moment of what the fuck. That was so many good jokes in this movie.
Yes.
Like it has to me, this movie I feel like has a better sense of Spider-Man in general than the first movie did.
I feel like it had more room to do that.
Yeah, I would agree, and I think there's some like couple like actually like genuinely. Oh, sorry, guys.
I think Iron Man's absence may have something to do with it having that room.
They found a good way to tie it into the general themes of Spider-Man and all that stuff. With like and like especially that scene in the plane with Happy Hogan and Spider-Man, I thought was really really well done.
That was really nice.
Yes,
there's some genuinely like really emotional range with these actors in these movies, and it really pays off in a way that these feel like to me fully fleshed out characters. With very well defined characters.
I love the idea that he had on the plane. The fact that they had like a spider suit knitter, like fabricator, where he could actually, it's not the full super fancy version that has all the different features, but he can choose
what he
his loadout, so to speak.
No, I like that too, actually.
I find that great, and a great concept for the next video game. That should be a thing.
That'd be cool.
I mean, that basically was the last video game, wasn't it?
Was it? Could you choose like loadouts and stuff instead of?
I mean, they had the wheel, but
yeah, sure, whatever. But
another tidbit that I liked going back a little earlier in the film was there were some clever tie-ins and callbacks to earlier films in the franchise with who Mysterio was and his tie to Tony Stark and
I'm tempted to go back and like look at those clips to see if they were actually in those shots.
Yes.
Because I don't know how accurate that actually was. If they actually went back and got those extras.
You know what that I loved is if you look at some of the interviews they did with Tom Holland, and Tom Holland has such a thank you for that. Tom Holland has I have dandruff. That's rude.
Tom Holland.
Anyway, so they do interview Tom Holland, and they asked about the multiverse thing, and you know Tom Holland has an awful reputation for spoiling everything. And it's a point where he says like, so is there like a movie done like an Into Spider-Verse kind of thing where it's you and Maguire and Garfield, and it has like I forget Zendaya and the guy who plays Ned like sitting like in like next to him, and Tom Holland's like in her face like.
That would be amazing.
Like, don't say a fucking thing. You get to see it like really loudly in his head.
And that in and of itself is saying something.
What
if the Into the Multiverse sequel crosses over with the
well, it's like when they had Paul Rudd, I think it was on one of the late night shows, they had the thing like so there's this thing going around where the way to defeat Thanos is Ant-Man goes up his butt, and then Paul Rudd just goes, look guys, my lips are sealed.
No, that's the only way to approach things like that, is any questions about upcoming stuff, just be like, I cannot confirm and deny anything, and I'm not going to. I've learned I had to do this when people started asking about like birthday surprises and stuff a long time ago, and I knew things, and they would be like, is this? And you can say no to a bunch of things, but then the moment you don't say no to the thing it actually is, they're like, so you gotta figure out how to just be like, you're not getting shit from me. And I'll tell you, it drives my current partners fucking crazy. So,
like my favorite one though is I think it was for and when they were doing interviews for Endgame, Holland 2 was also like that. It was like, how was filming the funeral? And it just goes like, okay, here's how much they didn't tell me. I was told it was a wedding. And I went in there, and I was going, where's Robert?
The way that I just love that Benedict Cumberbatch and who was the other person assigned to just be his character, like just put their hand over his mouth when he started saying something?
Was it Falcon?
Was it?
No, he just came in around times to fuck with them.
We can go back and watch it if we have to, but
Yeah.
the point being, Tom Holland is terrible at this stuff.
Yes.
And he never means to. He's just so careless about it.
Yeah.
And I feel like that fits.
And Ruffalo's the same exact way.
Oh yeah, Ruffalo. They have the same kind of like flippant charm.
Yes.
that works. Oh man.
But anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
So, back to Far From Home. Like, I think this movie to me, I liked it better than Homecoming.
Yeah.
I think it's really solid. It's a great villain. Has really solid pacing. I do agree with you. It does kind of kick off more towards the halfway point.
Yes.
Yeah.
When the elementals are dealt with.
Yeah.
And I think that's where really
elementals.
the element. Yeah. Which like it's such an obscure character reference. I know nobody would give a shit if they fucked it up.
They took the time. They took that time to do a lot of really good world building.
They did, and I like that they took their time with it. Yeah.
I feel like they didn't waste that first hour.
No, I agree.
I also like that when they get to that second hour, they really get to it.
Yeah, they don't
yes.
hold back. It really works. It works. It looks amazing.
It looks amazing. It's very the fact that Peter has to focus and find, you know, he has to improvise as he goes through, and he has to really focus to not fucking die.
Yeah, in a very Spider-Man kind of way.
Yeah. It's a very it's something that utilizes not only his Spider-Man powers, but him as Peter Parker. It very much does embody the character in a way that I don't think any other movie has quite managed to do yet. And I really enjoyed that last battle because they beat the fuck out of him. He is wrecked.
Yes.
More so than getting hit by a bullet train. He gets fucked up.
Oh yeah, and especially like that whole bridge sequence.
Yeah,
at the end,
that's what I'm talking about.
where they use like the spider sense thing to work on that. It's like that looked incredible.
He basically runs the gauntlet through a small army of drones guarding Mysterio.
Yeah.
I mean, I think my one thing I was disappointed by is like I wanted more like Mysterio sequences.
Yeah, I would say in that final battle there was less Mysterio than I wanted, but at the same time, it had the parts of Mysterio that mattered.
I agree.
Because he had that whole headset thing going on.
Speaking of which, can we talk about the rehearsal scene? When they're just in the big ass theater and they're like, guys, I don't really like how this looks on this side. Can we like tweak it that way?
Yeah.
And he's wearing the green screen suit.
Yeah. No, there's definitely jokes for filmmakers in this movie.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed those.
How did you guys feel about the exposition heavy scene? Because
which one?
The one where Mysterio talks to everyone in the bar?
Yeah.
I was okay with it.
I felt like it was a good way to get the twist out of the way and like also do those callbacks.
Yeah.
You know, and also establish.
I liked.
It's another thing to remember that yes, Tony Stark is a hero. He'll forever be remembered for what he did in Endgame. He will forever be remembered as the savior of humanity. We love and miss Tony Stark and Iron Man. But let's not forget, he was a dickbag.
Yes.
He was a dickbag forever. Mm-hmm. And he treated a lot of people like shit. And I like that this movie doesn't let that go. Because
no, it does not.
At the same time as Tony Stark is, you know, the hero character, one of the very important parts of the character is the fact that he's an asshole.
Yeah.
And not just in a way that allows, you know, Marvel movies to make funny quips at each other and just be kind of like, ha, let's stop a battle for 2 seconds where everyone's life is in danger just to, you know, make a joke, because we're like that. It's bad directors. Infinity War. But like never. But to have that acknowledged as, you know, an intrinsic part of the character, I felt like that was really good.
No, I'm hoping the villain they go for the next one kind of breaks that cycle a little bit, because we have had 2 Spider-Man villains where the main motivation has been Tony Stark, which I mean works in the world. But I'm kind of hoping for the next one that they'll actually make it more personal to Spider-Man next time around. I think that'd be kind of nice change of pace.
Well, what do you mean?
I mean, like a lot of well, for example, like the way Spider-Man 2 kind of did it, where it's still personal to Peter Parker, not necessarily really related to Iron Man, which I mean, like, I'm not saying what they did was bad. It worked in the universe it has.
Yeah.
But like, I think I would like the next film they have to have more personal connection to Peter personally,
I mean,
which is like where the best Spider-Man villains typically do. Like Harry Osborn, or even Norman Osborn,
Yeah.
or Venom, or anything like those.
but at the same time, I feel like, you know, we've gotten those movies.
True.
We've gotten the Osborns.
But I would like to see how this universe kind of interprets those characters. I mean, we don't talk about the way they made Spider-Man 2 did it.
Spider-Man versus the Osborns.
Sharon! Oh my God, dude, he ate a bat.
I've heard a theory that Oscorp is going to kind of fill the void in this universe that was left by Stark Industries.
I've heard that rumor too.
That would be interesting.
Like, I heard, like, there's a lot of rumors that what used to be Avengers Tower is going to become Oscorp Tower.
Yes.
Is a popular one going on right
Maybe.
now. Which, I've heard they have plans for Norman Osborn, which, like, considering he's been an Avenger-level threat in the past, would actually work okay.
Yeah, sure. But at the same time, they would have to do it in a way that was different, and also just not,
True.
you know, completely fabricate a deep relationship between them like the Amazing movies did.
Yeah, I agree with that. But, like, I mean, like, it's kind of like doing the comics, you know, just where, like, honestly, if you want the best version I think would work on screen,
Like he gets an internship after high school.
Look up the Spectacular Spider-Man TV show.
Okay.
That one had a great Norman Osborn in there.
Okay.
Because he was like cold, he was calculating, he made a point and said, "I never apologize." He was like kind of abusive, but not aggressively abusive towards Harry. And his wife never talked, which is always really creepy. Like she showed him in several scenes, but she never said a word, and we never found out why.
I feel like it would have to be a damned good one, because I will forever love Willem Dafoe.
I do love Willem Dafoe.
It was so good.
They can get him back.
They probably could. I mean, they got.
Yeah, I was gonna.
Yeah.
So I do want to pick your brain about the potential consequences of the mid-credit scene reveal.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's gonna be great.
No, that's definitely takes into new and exciting territory for Spider-Man. I think it's really exciting.
Consider.
Haven't they written themselves into a bit of a corner, though?
No,
This is not
why?
the first time it's happened.
No, that's because
Really?
it has not been an uncommon thing in the Spider. I mean, you know more than I do, but it hasn't been an uncommon plot line for, you know, JJ to actually succeed in his slandering of Spider-Man, and Spider-Man actually have to like fight for his reputation against the city.
Yeah, it's not the first time it's been refused. It's not the first time he's been framed. It's not the first time he's had his identity revealed by a villain.
Okay.
In fact, like the Spectacular Spider-Man TV show just has a sequence, like a series of episodes where Venom just straight up goes on the Daily Bugle and just goes, "Hey, I hate this guy. Peter Parker is Spider-Man. Fucking print that."
Oh, that's great.
And then leaves. And like the next two episodes about him, like everyone like investigating whether or not he's actually Spider-Man. The conclusion, like, no, he's clearly not.
Man, I find it. I find this to be an interesting opportunity to potentially explore some of the themes that were more of a philosophical issue with the Civil War comic books, that were just, you know, completely thrown to the fucking wayside by the Rousseau brothers for the movie.
I'm sorry, but the Civil War comic book sucks.
It's not great, but thematically it has interesting concepts.
Executed poorly, but that's a whole different topic.
That's your opinion. And even if the main thing was not that great, a lot of the side stories that they had did some interesting things with it.
Most interesting stuff was done in the spin-off series more than the actual story.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, which is, in my opinion, not a very good way to tell a major event story, but that's just me.
Yes, but that also means that it had good concepts that someone who has the proper insight and talent could do something cool with.
Fair enough. I'll give you that.
And the whole philosophy, the idea of superheroes fighting with each other about revealed identities versus secret identities, like, for the sake of public trust and government tracking and all that stuff.
Transparency.
Yeah, like a transparency versus, the safety of their loved ones and everything because they do a dangerous job.
Yeah.
Much in the same way that, no one knows who the members of SEAL Team 6 were, except for that one guy who came out and wrote a book. Like, it's I find it an interesting topic to explore as far as superhero themes go.
No, and if you know what you're doing, you can actually be a very interesting story.
And I think we've seen that John Watts knows what he's doing.
So
I think so.
Can Tom Holland's Peter Parker still be Spider-Man now that he's been outed?
I mean, it's comic books. They can always find a way to still do their job, even
That's the question,
though.
though.
Yeah.
That's how is he going to approach the job now that people know who he is? Considering that his major enemies have kind of gone by the wayside, but at the same time, any future enemies will, if they want to hold an Avenger hostage, then they can go after Aunt May.
Yeah.
Or Ned or MJ, because they all know now.
In the same way that Mysterio went after them in this movie.
I mean, they could also come with some kind of MacGuffin to you can make Peter Parker's secret identity a secret again, not with Mephisto this time.
I don't know, but
because they've done it before. It's more like the investigation turns out that it's all bogus, so they could do it that way if they wanted to.
Is this a Sinister Six setup now that he's been outed? Scorpion knows. Vulture already knew.
I mean, it's more like we've only
Tinker
seen
knows.
like 2 or 3. First off, Tinker has never been a member of the Sinister Six. He's not a fighter. So we only have
he's an established villain.
Tinkerer.
So we only have like 3.
Oh, that was one of the most pained laughs I've ever heard you make.
There's only been like 3 Spider-Man villains really introduced at this point. Mysterio, who may or may not be dead, is Mysterio. He can still be perfectly fine. The Vulture, both are classic Sinister Six members, and Scorpion has, I think, been in a couple iterations. We would need either the other 3 all at once, or a few other movies. Because
I don't think that's gonna happen.
They said they planned 9 of these fucking movies.
It's not gonna happen because
not for a while.
The way that these things go, we've seen that the worst things happen to these movies when you try to cram too many character introductions into it at once, and that's always been the downfall of movies like that. And I don't think that. I think they're smart enough with making these films at this point where that's not going to be an issue.
No, I don't think so.
There hasn't been a flat-out bad Marvel movie. There have been some that are kind of lackluster, but none that fall on their face as hard as, Spider-Man 3 did, or
or Spider-Man 2,
or
X-Men: Last Stand. X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad.
Oh, the travesty. But yeah.
Of best makeup.
Batman vs Superman.
No. It's a good movie. Fuck you.
Still fell flat on its face.
Did not, though.
Justice League.
Oh, God. That was just a sad story. It was a sad story.
But anyway,
the director's daughter killed herself, man.
I wasn't even talking about any of that.
I know, but that's why it fell apart.
Then why was he depressed before he directed that film?
What do you mean? What do you mean depressed?
I mean that.
Well, he left the production because his daughter killed herself.
Depression filter is in all of his.
He makes dark movies. That's just what he does. But when you're talking about how that movie went off the rails, his daughter killed herself and he took himself off the production, and Joss Whedon took over, and the studios had them reshoot a bunch of stuff because they were able to get it away from Zack Snyder's control, and then
before we get too deep,
it all
I
went.
should point out the
Squirrel Thor.
Thor Squirrel. I was more looking at the time.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's fine. But yeah, no, be nicer to Zack Snyder.
Okay, I didn't say anything.
He's
about
not
it.
a bad filmmaker.
I was just curious.
He's auteur. I'll give him that.
Yeah, he makes dark ass movies. It happens.
A little too obsessive hypermasculine for my taste, but.
Yeah, but
and
comic
Ayn
books.
and Ayn Rand.
Corporate product placement.
He does want to.
everything.
He does want to make. He's been trying to make Fountainhead for years.
Really?
Yeah. So that kind of tells you.
Did you hear about the trilogy that came out?
Wait, what?
Oh yeah, no, okay. There was an Atlas Shrugged trilogy that came out over the past few years.
I did not know this.
Yeah, there's a reason for that. It was you should just look up the story. But all you should know is that they changed the entire cast after the first one, and it had budgetary concerns and lots and lots and lots of production issues along the way. And it is one of those things that is just a lot of fun to watch, like read about how it fell apart, because people really wanted to do something a certain way and other people really wanted to do something a different way, and by the very nature of the thing they were making, they couldn't really give in to to each other's like desires. So yeah, it's fun.
See, my favorite part of the third Hobbit movie is watching the making of the third Hobbit movie and just watch everyone go, like the making of the third Hobbit movie is a half-hour apology for the third Hobbit movie.
Kim is a massive Lord of the Rings and Hobbit fan, and she didn't even go see the third one.
I don't blame her. It sucked.
Lindsay Ellis did a great breakdown of the...
It's great, yeah.
Oh, that's actually got her nominated for a Hugo.
I heard about that.
Yeah.
I follow her on Twitter, and I just saw, like, looks up other
Her
Hugo...
Twitter's so great.
like, looks at what other Hugo nominees. Well, it's nice to be nominated.
I've been watching her videos since she was the nostalgia chick.
Yeah.
It's like, no, your quality's gone up leaps and bounds since then.
Well, when
yeah.
you get experience and you're not, in an environment full of fucking dickbags.
Yes.
That broke my heart.
But it's her. I love how she's in her most recent video about
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones. She's like, I might see George R.R. Martin at the losers party. Yay! Oh shit! Maybe I can ask him all the things that he doesn't want to talk about. But yeah. Anyway, I think we're done.
Yeah, I think so too. Oh, so you got more
We're getting into general nerdery now.
Yeah.
Why is Nick Fury vacationing in space in the end credit scene?
Because he got blipped.
Okay. I was just curious.
I mean, we don't know he's actually vacationing so much as he's doing some of the Skrulls, and he just happened to be like taking a break.
Okay.
It was a fun reveal.
It was, yes.
It was pretty funny.
Yes.
And also kind of shoots down at you like, they're building up secret invasion, you guys. Secret. Like, no, they just work for Nick Fury.
They're just hanging out now.
Yeah.
Well, they're friends.
Men in Black style. Yeah.
A friend of mine told me that apparently there's a space version of S.H.I.E.L.D. called Sword, so this could be a build-up for that.
Pokemon Marvel crossover.
I mean,
It's gonna happen.
I mean, technically, Sword is owned by, I guess was owned by Fox because it was really interested in X-Men comics, so we'll see if and when they do that, but
Well,
they could be
after
building that
Dark
up.
Phoenix, let's just hope they're done.
Well, that was the last of the Sony X-Men films.
So you
Sony.
think?
It's Fox.
Sorry.
Sony made the Spider-Man movies.
That's right. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm confusing
man.
my film corporations.
Yeah.
It's good. It'll all be Disney soon enough.
Yeah.
God, don't even get me started. Anyway.
Corporate.
Yeah, we're done.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah. Far From Home. Great. Now waiting for Spider-Man 3, Return to Homeland or something. It's gotta have home in the title, you know that.
Home again? I don't know.
Home Alone.
Can't go home.
He fights a Sinister Six with paint cans and like race cars.
Hometown. They already did Far From Home.
Home party?
I think Homeland is
Country
closest,
Home.
but that sounds too like espionage, spy-y.
Sweet Home Alabama.
Sweet Home, New Jersey.
Spider-Man encounters his greatest obstacle yet: Flatlands.
God damn it!
With nothing to swing on, what will our wallflower do?
Let's see if we can get Scarecrow to come over from DC and just like have him run through cornfields and be like, God damn it!
Well, there actually is a Marvel Scarecrow, so they could just do
God.
that.
Okay. Anyway.
Yeah, we're
good.
Thank you for watching.
All right, see you next week for Crawl, and it's actually a pretty good reviews.
I don't want to see it. I just don't.
Do you want to see Stuber instead?
I want to see that less somehow. I don't know why, but I don't want to see either of those movies, and I can't decide which one I want to see less.
Fair enough.
But yeah,
All right, well, I think that's all we got. I know you can get back to work, so we'll take off. All right, see you guys later.
Bye.